New Magic sets coming out can have unintended consequences for the reserve list. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here on a pre-recorded Saturday video just for you when you're waking up in the morning, chilling out with a cup of coffee, walking the dog, hanging out. Maybe you're just watching TV and I'm on the side there. You're just listening to me buzzing in your ear. You don't know what's going on. It's too early in the morning. You're having a hard time concentrating. We are having a conversation today about the reserve list, but also about some of the prices and how things can come out and affect that reserve list. So as an example, about 6 months ago, I had recommended buying certain cards on the reserve list because they were just starting to go up 20, 25 bucks. But now we have Modern Horizons 2, and it has brought a lot of squirrels. There's a lot of squirrels with a lot of nuts, and it has really affected what's going on right now with Deranged Hermit. This guy used to be a $25 card. He was, kind of fun, kind of quirky decks, but look at him now. $25 Canadian has now shot up to $150 Canadian, 88 in the US, 65 in the EU, and the sales are insanely strong across multiple platforms and other languages, which is unusual. Usually a lot of the cards get picked up in English, but I'm seeing a move in basically every language it was printed in. People are just trying to get their hands on the cards. So the sales are very strong across multiple platforms. I've talked to some of my local retailers, my guy in Australia, and a few people in Germany, and it turns out all these cards are moving across the board as soon as they announced all the squirrels. So even though it wasn't intended with Modern Horizons 2, maybe Wizards doesn't pay attention to the reserve list, but when they did that, they caused a reaction. And it looks like from the card sales I'm seeing, there's no single buyer. It's not a mass buyout by one or two people. It's a lot of individuals seeking out the cards and grabbing them. Now, if you're new to my channel, by the way, smash the subscribe button, join in the fun. It's free to do, by the way. It doesn't cost you anything. And then you can catch up on my videos whenever they hit the tube, as it were, right? And of course, I do new content every day. With this card, with Deranged Hermit, they printed a few new cards in Modern Horizons 2, which are going to have good synergy with the card, of course. But it was already kind of a fun card to begin with, right? He's just like a elf druid guy. He's just chilling out. He's got little squirrel friends. Now he has a squirrel army to rely on. People want the card, they want to put him in there, and they're buying it. And that's an unintended consequence of, it's already a reserve list card, but this is when cards start to shoot up, because now it has other cards to go with it. 20 years ago, this may have just been a fun card. But when you start adding other squirrels and squirrel tokens, and people like the idea and the themes, they grab these cards, and they go back and snag the old ones. And I know I got a couple of emails of people who said, I bought like 20 copies when you told me to. Kudos to you. You made a killing. That is not always the case, but in this case, I was happy for the emails of those who did it because I only bought a couple, so that was insane to see. Amazing card. Now, another card that's been affected is Aiden Oakenshield. Like, I loved him back in the day. Bringing creature cards back from your graveyard was always a good thing. But his price already kind of went up when we had the buyout. He was already like doubling in value. He went from like a $40, $50 card to like $120, $160. Then he hit the 200 mark. And now look at him. At $350 in Canada to get a copy of him, $299 in the US, $143 in the EU. Guys, and the sales are strong again. But the funniest thing is the sales are not strongest in English. Italian sales are by far the strongest because the Italian copies are going for $60 to $80, and that's what people are buying. They want the card. They want it for the cards you can connect with it in Modern Horizons 2. But they're not sure they want to pay the premium of $350, $400 for a copy in English. So they are buying the Italian copies, and it's selling a lot. Like, it's not like it's a little bit. People are buying multiple copies of it, and it's going quickly. So I was surprised to see that a non-English copy was outselling English copies, but the sales right across all the platforms and formats I checked is very strong. There was none locally to check in, and they didn't have any on a wish list, any of the stores I called, but it is a lot going on. Okay, there's a lot of sales in this particular card. And let's face it, he's from Legends. He already was old. He was already worth the money. At $350, he's still worth the money, guys. Remember, reserve list stuff only goes up. Even when it dips, which is what I'm going to show you next, even when it dips, it's still going to go up in the long run, so it's a safe bet as far as Magic cards can go, in my opinion. And remember, I am not a financial advisor. I did not graduate Magic University. You see no certificates on the wall stating otherwise. This is an entertainment channel, and this information should be taken as entertainment only. Man, it's crazy though, I'm telling you. All right, now our last little bit is going to be a great card, great conversation topic, and that's going to be dual lands. Dual lands, of course, are a cornerstone when you're into reserve list cards. They're like a static thing where you're like, I gotta have them. Now, reserve list prices really jumped up high during the buyout. Okay, they really got to new levels. It was amazing to see, and they've started to now recede back down. And when they're receding, when you're looking for certain ones, like in this case, I'm showing you a revised plateau. That plateau used to be like $380. It was like really kind of crazy to see. So at $380 to $400, it was an expensive card. It was really, and these are usually the not most sought after dual lands in the collections, right? But when you see it there, it's now down to 300 Canadian. And some auctions, you can get for like 225, 230 if you just bid in an auction, wait and see if you win. Now, of course, 220 in the USA, and of course, in the EU, you're talking about 150. Guys, this all kind of fits within that same range, but if this dual land is dipping, I've looked across it, a lot of the dual lands are now settling back down to a more reasonable price point where players who maybe missed that opportunity at the first price spike there, if they let it keep drifting down, maybe you'll have a chance to grab a couple of them, the ones you're looking for, or maybe it'll be your first piece of reserve list history by grabbing a dual land. I mean, they're used in Commander, they're used in Vintage Legacy decks, old school, like 93, 94, they're used in a lot of formats still. The dual lands are key. They're kind of like the health of the reserve list. I myself still buy them whenever I get the opportunity to. So seeing them drift down this way really can give you the opportunity to say, hey, I'm just going to buy one. I'm just going to buy one. I mean, put it this way, you could buy this or you could buy a collector box of something, right? But if they keep drifting down and they hit that 220, 230 mark, it'll be a real little snaggle fest to get your hands on a few before the price is forced back up by whatever market influences happen at that point. Great card, great prices. Keep an eye on them. The sales are very strong, especially in the slabbed copies. But it's still selling multiple copies a day across multiple formats. Even locally, it's selling quite well, although their prices are still higher here in Toronto than some of these. So our prices in Toronto have not lowered down to some of the eBay TCG levels I've seen. Okay, so very nice, great product to think about. And the last thing I want to mention, with Modern Horizons coming out, those unintended consequences can affect multiple formats of play. Dual lands, of course, we just talked about, are one of those cornerstone cards that you got to have. But at the same time, with all the... You think of Yawgmoth's Tomb. Yawgmoth's Tomb there is a great card. It's a black card. Hey, you can tap all lands for black. They just did the green one, right? The Cradle. So now they have the Cradle. They're going to do the blue, black. They're going to have them all out there. They'll have a full play set of 5. That can really add versatility to a lot of decks. And that can add all kinds of effects on the reserve list. A lot of these cards will have reverberating effects. If they put a card that's similar but not quite as good as another card, the original card usually goes up in value. Because they're like, it's pretty good, but the original's so much better. And then that price goes up and it forces that price even higher. And that's what I see happening to a lot of these cards when these come out. There's other cards similar but not quite, and then it jumps the price up a little bit more, especially if it gets into this little feeding frenzy we saw for the Hermit and for the Aiden Oakenshield. It can really have an effect, guys. So just something to keep your eyes on. I hope you're having a great day today. I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow. This was MTG Mox, man. Guys, have an awesome day, man. It's Saturday. What can we do, right? Having our cup of coffee. That's what I'm going to do. Stay safe out there. Hey guys, big shout out to all my patrons out there. You guys are amazing, man. Looking forward to seeing you on the live stream. I hope your Saturday is just going awesome. We'll see you then, guys. Have a great one. Hey guys, how's it going out there? Happy Saturday, man. Have some popcorn, lots of butter, like heart attack popcorn, and just chill it. And then maybe some fresh nachos and cheese with like jalapenos on the side, maybe some bacon bits, scrumbled in there. It's making me hungry, guys. I hope your Saturday is going to go as well as mine. Have a great one. I'll see you on Sunday.